where else they could go this year.
Exactly. We talked about it last night, that the potential here and learning from the players who were on the team last year, the freshmen could only get better. The players that were there, they realized that they could get
They've
better.
gone through the process.
And you understand that the improvement is there, and you can reach that potential.
And now just to take a quick look at Drury, they're over in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. They earned a first place vote in their conference preseason. They're picked to finish 6th in the GLVC. They have 9 letter-winning returners, but they're looking to replace their entire offense. And the first name that really steps out to me, what I'm looking at is going to be senior setter/outside hitter Chloe Rear. She had 119 kills last year, 652 digs, so she's really able to switch into whatever role, whatever scheme head coach Jennifer Bronner, needs to ask of her.
Yeah, she's really a huge part of this team, but you can't forget Juliana Squire. She could quite possibly be their best player. She played in 31 matches last year, had 145 sets with 178 kills. She averaged 1.42 kill per set.
And another thing with Squire, she's deadly with the aces too. She had 42 service aces last season. First on the team, 7th in the GLVC. And so she's going to be a name to watch. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we actually have a banner dropping ceremony for the Huskies for their conference regular season title and their conference tournament championship coming up in just a bit.
Yeah, we're about 6 seconds away from
getting things underway.
Getting things underway.
SCSU was 8-3 against AECA top 25 teams last season, ranking top 10 nationally in many offensive and defensive categories. Multiple student athletes earned All-American, All-Region, All-NSIC, and academic All-Conference honors. St. Cloud State closed the season by earning both the regular season and conference tournament championships. Tonight, the Huskies are joined by graduated seniors Bella Erner, Morgan Penner, Matt Torley, and Allison Monk, along with current students Ainsley Apple and Abigail Grunaway. Fans, at this time, would you please join us in directing your attention to the northeast corner of Hollenbeck Hall as we honor the 2021 NSIC champion, St. Cloud State Huskies. Let's hear it one more time for your defendant, NSIC champion, St. Cloud State University Huskies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Just getting our non-starters announced for the Drury Panthers, and it's a little confusing if for one who doesn't know the teams. You have the Huskies and the white, red, and black, and then you have Drury and the red, black, and white. We'll say.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with these teams coming in here trying to take St. Cloud's colors. I mean,
Stop trying to steal our thunder.
that's what I'm saying. We had it fair and square.
And your starters for the Drury Panthers.
What?
Okay, now that we are back in, starting lineups have been announced and we'll say confirmed for Drury. They're going to have Lexi Bassler, Gabby Birmingham, Juliana Squire, Salma Lewis, Stormy Tadlock, and as we mentioned before, Chloe Rear. And for your Huskies, you're going to have Libero, Keely Kirshner, and Sam Zimmerman, Lindsay Rachel, Kenzie Foley, McKenna Holman getting the nod, and Phoebe Rossi to start us off.
Quite a starting lineup there for St. Cloud. You saw Zimmerman last night show out, getting her first chance to play this year. Man, not enough to say
There's
about
not
her.
enough you can say about this Husky team.
Exactly. I mean, Phoebe Rossi got 7 kills last night. With Kenzie Foley adding on 13 as well. I mean, what else is there to say? And don't forget about Lindsay Rachel.
Lindsay Rachel, for those that missed the pregame, she's 32 kills away from 4th all-time in career kills here at St. Cloud. So that record, she's at some point this season, she will break that. And speaking of Lindsay Rachel, she'll start us off here. Not football. Start us off here.
It's a metaphor.
For set number 1 of Game 2 this weekend. Drury sets it up. Rear Birmingham, that's going to be well wide. There's a little too much underneath it there, Carl. And, you know, kind of when you swing off the back foot, you're not going to get all that power.
Yeah, you want it to go off of your palm.
Rachel continues again. Bassler sets. Swing by Tadlock, excuse me. Didn't make its way through Huskies. It will shut that one down. Panthers couldn't regather themselves, Huskies.
Yeah, Squire jumps over Rear to try and get to that one after Rear is able to hit it with her fist, but nothing doing off of that.
Jumping over your teammates, Carl, not recommended. Block shank fully. Keeps it going in. Block up front, Sam Zimmerman and McKenna Holman combined. My word. Was that thing rejected? 3-0 Huskies once.
Yeah, that
again.
Excuse me.
Lewis going to shank that one. Birmingham sent back over. Baran, Kirshner. Holman swing. That's going to be just long, but the Panthers can't convert. And it's 4-0.
And that was a judgment error by
Squire, I believe.
Not Basler.
Basler, thank you.
Yeah,
couldn't see her behind the near post here.
Yeah, Basler doesn't realize where she is on the court, and she should have let that one go. It would have been out. But
and Stormy Tadlock buries this one. Went off of a couple of Husky players. Panthers get their first point on the board. Gabby Birmingham out of Springfield, Missouri to set us off. Baran, Zimmerman up front. In the bleachers, into the coach. And Panthers unable to get that one back as Zimmerman just too much power.
And there it is again. You see Drury again making a poor decision on that judgment as Birmingham, that ball would have gone out, but she goes after it.
Kirshner, short, set, Rear tries to dump it over, punches it up fully. Just tosses up. Baran, Holman, far side. Kept alive. Birmingham to Rear, who just sets it over. Baran feeds fully. It's still on the other side. Deflected, went just right across. And Foley will get her first kill of the evening.
Yeah, from my angle, I thought that was
that was coming back
yeah.
over. Not to be the case. Kirshner once again. Squire. Back to Lewis. Foley now. Rossi up front. Soft. Kept alive. No, hit the ground. It was Gabby Birmingham who couldn't keep it up. Huskies out to an early 7-1 lead. And head coach Jennifer Bronner going to take her first time out as her girls just a little out of sync. Bronner coming into this game 327 and 106 overall.
Trying not to end the day with 2 losses.
And for Bronner, there's only so much you can do. Your team is not at 100%. They had to play 5 grueling sets earlier today.
Yeah, you can only do so much against these NSIC teams. I mean, especially this St. Cloud team, they're going to hammer you into the ground. We mentioned it earlier that they do not let up. The only thing they do is they keep nailing you.
In half of the 8 out of the 16 teams in the NSIC, they received the votes in the top 25.
Exactly.
So it's either we'll say top half of the NSIC is in the top 35, we'll say, in the country.
And I mean, it's definitely showing to be the best conference in Division II volleyball.
Oh, hands down. And as we look in front of us, all the Huskies, they're smiling up front. They're telling jokes, it looks like, keeping the mood light. But, I mean, when you're up 7-1, the mood's going to be good.
I think that's when you're having the most fun. Is when you know you're in the game. You don't need to worry about much. You're
Just
up
go
by
through
this
the
much.
motions.
Yeah, you can go through the motions. It doesn't really matter if you give up a couple points. Just have some fun with it.
Kirshner had 1 ace last night. Rear pops. There's Tadlock, had to twist and reach for it. She gets it.
Yeah, that one goes off of a Husky out.
She called it, and Rear didn't even have to guess where she was going to be. Good chemistry there between Chloe Rear and Stormy Tadlock.
Yeah, as Barron and Rossi went up for the block, and went off Barron's hands, but it looked like an out.
Selma Lewis sets us off, and it's going to be a service error for the Joplin, Missouri native. Huskies now up 8-2, and Rachel Houle steps in as Sam Zimmerman tags out. Houle again surgical with her service. With her serves.
Struggled a little bit yesterday. Not usual for her. A little unfortunate.
A little uncanny, we'll say.
Yeah, she ended about 50%. I'd say she was about 2 and 2.
But on the bright side, she barely just set that one long.
Yeah,
the freshman Addison Tawai getting us going. There's Baran. Rossi, big swing. That's going to be well long. As again, off the back foot, you can't get that downward momentum on the ball.
Yeah, and we just talked about having a little fun with it. Now they got to get back into this. It's down to 4. They were up 8-1. Now you got to start getting back in the game and get your game plan going.
Baran feeds fully off the fingertips. Birmingham keeps it up. Rear tries to dump it over. Rossi gets the glove on it. And it looked like Houle had that one covered, just a little miscommunication. I don't think Rossi saw her.
Yeah, that's just a little. That's on instinct. Anybody will do that. It's there. You put your hand up. That's
it's human nature.
Partially going through the motions, and that's just really unfortunate for St. Cloud.
Baran back to Foley, fingertips. It's gone. Great feed by Baran. Foley gives the point of acknowledgement. To be like, hey, that was a fire pass.
You love to see it. The physicality, the power of the Huskies is paying off for them there.
Oh, dump over by Rear, kept alive by Houle. Up front, Rachel wins the joust. Surprisingly, it got rejected, but it bounced out.
I like how they're all cheering before the play is over.
Well, at some point, you just know. Foley sets us up. There's a Rear up front. Swing far by Neal, kept alive. Dump again by Rear. She's really trying to force one over. Rossi hammer fist. Doesn't go down. Birmingham off the back foot. Good block by Rossi. Baran dumps it back corner. Rear again. Block up front by the Huskies. It goes off of the back of Taylor Neal's head, and that's not a good way to keep the ball up. Huskies up 11-5.
I have Rossi and Zimmerman there. Just barely get their hands over the net. Could have been close to touching it, but no call.
Rear
That's what you love to see.
Good joust. Kirshner now. Baran. Rossi back foot. Birmingham keeps it up. Squire now. Over to Neal. Baran. Rachel. Kept alive. Neal again. There's Rachel to keep it up. Good rally go for the girls. Baran dumps it over. Rear pops. Swing by Birmingham. Backside. Foley keeps up. Soft touch. Rossi just dumps it over. Swing by Neal off the fingertips. Foley. Not keeping it alive. And Lindsay Rachel with a headshot onto Birmingham. Goes for the kill.
Gets her hands up, but still ends up on the ground. Looked like she got hit by a steamroller. That one had to get her, at least catch her off guard there.
Rear keeps it up. Brenna fully back line. That one's going to be out as I believe it was Bassler couldn't get a grip on it. 13-5. Head coach for Drury, Jennifer Bonner, continuing to give instructions to her girls to get them back into this one, get some momentum their way. Rear, cross set swing, Foley keeps up. Houle now. Roll shot by Rachel. Rear to Neal. Again, Foley awkward pop. Houle's gonna have to play that one. Kept over. Rear pops. Back foot swing. That's gonna go down for Duncan.
Foley tries to dive for it. It goes in the back corner. Nobody's there.
And it was good eyes for Callie Duncan out of Wichita, Kansas. Just saw this near back corner wide open. Kirshner to Baran. Foley gets rejected, and that one's going to be out off of the block by the Panthers. Husky point. Now we see Zimmerman and Kern step in for Kirshner and Rossi. Emily Curran, she had a couple serves last night, a couple of reps that she was taken out.
Error and an ace, I believe.
That sounds correct. I believe she had an ace on her first collegiate serve. And the swing by Taylor Neal out of Arnold, Missouri, that's going to be well long.
Yeah, Neal went to Seckman High School. She's named the second team all-conference in the St. Louis Suburban Public High School Athletic Association in 2021. She averaged 3.76 kills per set.
Foley gonna pop this one high, back to Zimmerman, full arm swing. Kept alive. Short dump by Duncan. There's Bassler. Rear over to Lewis, kept alive. Duncan just dumps it over. Baran, Zimmerman again, deflected and down. And again, I am continuously impressed by Emma Baran as she's just slotted right into this Husky team.
Right place, right time, knows exactly what to do. She can set in the front and the back. She's the most versatile setter on the St. Cloud team.
And her serve, gonna be just wide and out. Now it's gonna be Juliana Squire, the senior out of Fort Worth, Texas. 42 service aces last season. Led the team. We'll see what she can do here. Oh, it's low. Kept alive. Baran. There's Rachel. Just a little too much spin on that one.
Yeah.
Tried to pick that back corner, just too much bend.
She tries to avoid the blockers up front, but not enough space on the edge to get it back in, and it just goes out. That's just a tough situation for St. Cloud there.
Squire gets us going again. Baran, short set for Holman. Couldn't get a lot on it. There's Lewis to pop it up. Now Kirshner over to Foley, roll shot, kept alive. Good diving save there by Squire. And the one-fisted attempt off the back foot by Kirshner, not going to be able to be kept up. Panthers are within 5 now. They're keeping the Huskies honest.
Yeah, that one there, Kirshner going back and Foley running towards the same area. The communication wasn't there.
You can't afford to double commit here.
Exactly.
Rachel keeps it up. Baran, Zimmerman had to stretch for it. Joust up front. Tadlock keeps up. Zimmerman, full arm swing, forces it through Tadlock.
Yeah, Drury's walker's not up close enough to the net there.
I don't think that was the case. Tadlock and Zimmerman were face to face, but Zimmerman just had so much momentum behind that swing.
The ball slips under him, yeah.
Rear to Lewis. Let's go cross court, but Kirshner's ready. Baran, Rachel, popped up by Rear. It's in the rafters. And you know, sometimes you just need the ball to go high enough and you'll get the point.
Exactly.
Sometimes sometimes it works out that way.
The harder you hit it, the higher it goes off of their arms.
Lewis now sends it over. Rachel. Baran Holman, that's a good swing. And she knew it as soon as she made contact. She deleted that ball. Timeout, Drury. They're now down by 8.
Call her the deleter of worlds there. Getting the point for her team.
Deleter of worlds. I wonder where I've heard that before.
I'll tell you later.
Nonetheless, Huskies are just rolling through the motions right now. The Panthers not giving them that much trouble. But on the side of the Panthers, they are just getting beat up and pushed around.
You know, it's definitely within reach, though. So as the Panthers were starting to get back into it here towards the...
It's not all for loss.
Exactly. I mean, it can definitely be a lot worse. They picked up their play. Their teamwork's starting to look a little better there. And I mean, it's turning up for them.
They have more pieces together than they did at the start of the set. But the problem is that the Huskies, they have a full puzzle together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and when you're running against a well-oiled machine, it's just going to get harder as you go.
Out of the timeout for the Huskies, it'll be Baran, Holman, Zimmerman up front. Back line will be Foley, Kirshner, and Rachel. And for the Drury Panthers up front, it's going to be Tadlock, Rear, Birmingham, and then on the back line, it'll be Squire, Bassler, and Selma Lewis. 18-10 here for your Huskies. Set one. Bassler keeps it up. Rear short set for Stormy Tadlock. And that's going to be close, just out.
I'm a little
Huskies
close to the
going to
edge
get
here.
the point. Might be a challenge here.
I'm a little closer to the edge here than you, Ernie, and that one, that really looked like it was out for me. And I mean, that was really good.
Yeah, and it will be a video replay challenge here. Near side official will be having a chat with our good friend Gavin, who's behind the scenes right now working replay. Done a phenomenal job his last 4 years at St. Cloud. Or
What a guy.
This year's his 4th year, excuse me. Lovable guy. He's very passionate about what he does.
Sorry?
And we'll see how this replay turns out. It was going to be close either way. And Carl, so far we'll say we're in 2 games now into the season. We have 2 games tomorrow. We're gonna have Seattle Pacific and Ashland University. And if I'm honest, I'm really looking forward to the Seattle Pacific game.
Yeah, as am I. I mean, I believe they went out. Seattle Pacific hosted last year.
Yes.
And I mean,
it was in front of like 950 people in their own gym. And the Huskies, when I was talking to Chad Bregelman a couple days ago, when the Huskies were playing, because they're playing on West Coast time, they'd be getting ready to go to bed in Central time. So jet lag was a big factor last year for that Seattle trip. But now won't be the case. The tables will have turned.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be. Hopefully, they have the jet lag as well, because that's not a situation you want.
Well, and for Seattle, today they're going to play Winona and Concordia St. Paul. That's number 15 and number 6 in the country.
I mean, you are
It's
coming
a
up
gauntlet.
against 2 gauntlet as well.
But that's why they come.
Are there any teams that aren't facing a gauntlet, though? That's the thing. Is there so much talent in the state, at least?
All teams that the Huskies and all 4 of the Minnesota teams that are playing this weekend, they all had 20 wins last season, if not more.
Exactly. I mean, there's so much skill.
There's so much talent across the country. That's why they're here. The St. Cloud Invitational. Kenzie Foley strikes this one down. And it will be 19-11.
You love to see it as Chad Bregelman steps out on the court to make some adjustments with his players.
Very active coaching for Chad Bregelman. Rear pops up, swing by Tadlock, and I had to brace for impact as that ball was coming right towards us. Luckily, Chad Bregelman, such a nice guy. He knows he's going to protect us here.
He's going to protect us.
We got to stay on our toes. We're right here at court side. Selma Lewis. Her serve's going to be just out.
Good eyes there by Keely Kirshner.
And fun fact about Selma Lewis, back in high school, she medaled in the high jump back in high school back in Missouri, which is a feat to say.
Wow, that's really interesting. I know she only played in 27 matches last year, but she did have 65 kills.
Oh, Foley, good reaction to keep that ball alive. Rossi off the back foot. Pop, there's Tadlock. She gets that one through. And Rossi's just like, yeah, I probably could have gotten that one just a little out of sync there.
Well, I believe, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised she didn't get called for a net touch there. Yeah, it was very
Either way,
close,
point goes
not,
towards the Panthers.
Yep.
We see Kelly Duncan stepping for Stormy Tadlock. It'll be Addison Tawai to get us going. That's going to be long again. And the service errors for the Panthers are really becoming their undoing right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could at least expect some practice in between the sets
21-13 now for your Huskies. Rear dumps it over. She finds a good play. Didn't even have to look for that one.
Right next to the line. That's great. That's a great placement by Drury there.
And for the Huskies, I don't think they respected it. You know, that's the second time she's done that.
Yeah, Husky, I mean, yeah, they move as a unit, but they...
Good low set by Baran. Rossi just feeds it over. Blocked by Rossi. One-handed save there by Neal. Reared it, Duncan kept alive by Houle. Pop by Birmingham now. Baran, Foley backline, dumps it over. She's blocked by Duncan up front, who didn't have to do a whole lot as there wasn't really a Husky right up by the net.
Yeah, you got the Huskies caught out of position there, and that's how you're going to get back in this game.
And Foley, she was late to get up to that from the back line.
Yeah, you see St. Cloud packing the back, only 2 up front, because they realize that Drury's going to try and get the ball behind him.
What a save by the Panthers. They get that one back over. Baran backs up to Rossi again. That's shanked, kept alive. Squire to send it back. And that's going to be just a 3 touches. Houle couldn't keep that one alive. Just kind of pinballed up front off of Rossi and Baran.
Yeah, they got the Huskies caught out of position once again, and they were kind of scrambling now. And this is really Drury's chance.
This is Drury's chance to get a couple more points on the board. Rachel, Baran, back to Rachel. That's straight down beneath the floorboards of Hollenbeck. 22-16.
You know, they might have to replace this whole court here. And
you know,
while they're at
it's
it,
looking like there's a bit of a dent there.
And while they're at it, they might as well put some AC in.
Yes. It is toasty here on this August afternoon here.
Fans can only do so much.
Kern gets us going. Full swing by Duncan. Doesn't get anything going. Kern now. Baran over to Rachel. Roll shot, fingertips.
Was that Rachel or Kern? That may have been Kern.
That was Lindsay Rachel. I believe Kern's going to step out. Looks like Houle is back in point for the Panthers. 22-17. Drury is not out of this one just yet, and this is exactly how their match against Duluth went. Those first, every set was within 6 or 7 points, I'll say.
And you see the Huskies lining up in this situation here, trying to draw the ball up front. It's a lot easier to move forward than it is to backpedal.
Basser now. Swing by Strauss. That's going to be her first kill of the evening. Strauss transferred out of Kirkwood Community College out of Marion, Iowa. Was a 3-time Iowa State semi-finalist. And she was a national champion for her U17 club team.
Yeah, and you know what, Drury, not the only person they've had transfer from a community college. They have at least 2 more, if not 3. And they've really been able to find talent there where it seems like a lot of other teams haven't.
And really home run swing by Lindsay Rachel. Going to be 23-18 now. Baran to get us going. She had 1 ace last night. Fluid motion, kept alive by Squire. Rear pops it. Duncan, not a lot on it. Kirshner. Foley from the back line. Almost off the basketball hoop, up high. Here at Hallenbeck. Birmingham keeps it up. Baran, there's Holman, roll shot. Rear dump over, she finds the hole.
Great awareness of the court to be able to place that ball right in the middle, out of reach for every Husky on the court. You love to see that if you're a coach.
Right now, I think for Jennifer Bronner, is a lot happier than she was about, we'll say, 10 minutes ago. Their team's still in it.
Yeah, down to 4.
Baran to Rachel. She's denied. Kirshner and Foley again double commit on the return. Bregelman's going to call a timeout. Little frustration on Bregelman. I always try to read his face when he calls those timeouts as the Huskies lead down to 3. It was at 9. Or sorry, it was at 8 at one point here in set 1, and right now Huskies just talking it over between themselves.
Still, I don't know if this is the point to call a timeout. You're towards the end of the set. All you need is 2 more.
I mean, but 5 points, that's that can swing either way real quick. Coaching staff of Morgan Penner, Marcy Tuamalolo, and head coach Chad Bregelman just kind of working out the numbers, seeing like, okay, where are we gaining points? Where are we losing points right now? Chad, he's got something drawn up here on the clipboard.
You got to strategize into it to get this final play going.
Yep.
Similar to basketball, you got to get it all going. All drawn up, run it right, and get it fulfilled. Because that's exactly what you want. You know, I mean,
if you don't know the X's and O's,
exactly,
you can't win games.
Yep.
And you have to be able to adjust on the fly.
And in games like this, you can forget the X's and O's. It starts to just become poetry and motion. And the motions just get you, and you don't want to get in your head after a while.
Timeout has concluded for St. Cloud. 23-20 are the Huskies. Juliana Squire going to get us going here. Rachel had to keep that up. Zimmerman, big swing, diving save by Squire. There's Birmingham short-sided, shanked. And the
just can't
Huskies
reach it.
back line commits, double commits, and now Drury, they're within 2. They're 4 away from winning the set. If Huskies do not get a point, Huskies got to turn it around here, here and now. Foley, Baran, Rachel roll shot, rear to Tadlock, and Foley just drifted back 23-22. Bragelman calls another timeout. And for Drury, they have scratched and clawed as they are the Panthers. And right now, they are on the Huskies' tail.
I mean, this is not what you wanted if you're St. Cloud. But for Drury, yeah, you had a rough start to the day. They're using that anger that they had from that first game as momentum in this one to get back into it. That's exactly what you want to see if you're Jennifer Bonner Hill. And, you know, she's in her 9th season, so she definitely has the experience, and she's definitely able to coach this team back into it, which she's already showing. And you just got to get at least a couple more to take this set.
Well, I mean, going into set 5 when Drury was playing Duluth earlier today, you know, they kept it within 1 point. Points were going every other way because the finals, Drury ended up losing set 5, 21-19. So they were able to get 4 or 5 points and stay with the Bulldogs there. But in the end, it was the Bulldogs on top. And Drury, looking to bounce back here in set number 1, where they were, I'll be honest, they did not look great at the start, but they really have figured it out here.
Yeah, similar to what Oklahoma Baptist looked like yesterday. They had a little bit of a feeling out period in the beginning, and they were kind of getting everything together, working through all the kinks, which happens with every team. We saw St. Cloud do it a little at the beginning of this one as well. And, I mean, you'll get through it. You'll get into the game, and you can already see it.
And Squire,
this game
it's a big, costly mistake. That service error going to go long. Patuski's on set point swing by Tadlock goes off the hands of the Husky front line. 24-23. Big point here, as if the Panthers get this next point, we will have extra volleyball here in set 1. Baran to Foley, big swing, fingertips kept up by Birmingham. Rear denied. Strauss again, fingertips kept up by Rachel. Baran, Foley soft touch, that's all she needs.
What a touch there. Honestly, he could have gotten a net touch on Drury as well, but either way, St. Cloud takes the first set exactly how you want to start it off. Still have not lost a set on the season.
And for Foley, again, you think of her just raw power with her swings.
Exactly.
Throws the change up. Panthers not ready for it. And with that, we're going to send it to a short break. And when we come back, it'll be set 2 here for Huskies volleyball on the KVSC Sports Stream.
Return now by UMC. Ullman dumps it over on 2. Tying the game at 25. Ullman, do the thing you do so well.
Backdoor look shot, scores! Jimmy Murray buries it, and the Huskies are back up 5-4. And I'll do it. Huskies win the first ever North Star Cup.
You enjoy listening to St. Cloud State sports coverage as much as the sports department enjoys bringing it to you. And where else are you going to find top-notch coverage of St. Cloud State hockey, football, basketball, and volleyball, or the award-winning shows like Husky Sports Friday? And none of it would be possible without your donations. Your donations help pay for new equipment that we use to improve the quality and increase the quantity of the games that we bring to you. And you can donate anytime by going to kvsc.org and clicking on the Donate tab.
You're live in 5, 4, 3.
Oh, sounds like it's time for me to get to work. Welcome into Husky Studios. This is Husky Sports Friday. You're listening to the KVSC Sports Stream, and we've got all your favorite shows.
Is Richmond, Virginia attractive to
more
Division
attractive
I
than
athletes?
Mankato.
Okay.
Fargo, North. Who wants to go to Fargo, North Dakota?
Personalities.
Boom, shakalaka, let's go.
Wow, that was interesting.
And classic Husky moments you could ever dream of.
Tries to bang it home. He does. Joey Bennett lights the lamp for the Huskies again. Another one for St. Cloud State, and they lead 4-0. Return now by UMC. Ullman dumps it over on 2. Tying the game at 25. Ullman, do the thing you do so well.
To Kenny Walker inside the 5. Walker all the way. Touchdown, St. Cloud State.
So for the best sports coverage in the Granite City, be sure to tune in to the KVSC Sports Stream, where it's all Huskies all the time.
Welcome back, Husky fans, to the KVSC Sports Stream. Husky volleyball going on tonight. I am your host, Earnhardt Jaworski, alongside my good friend Carl Gunner. And Carl, we have our set 1 stats in front of us. And for the Huskies, it was your usual suspects for the kills: 6 from Foley, 4 from Rachel. Zimmerman had 3, Holman had 2, Rossi had 1. Again, it's the usual suspects. Baran, 13 assists.
Everyone's pulling out the stops here.
Yes, and well, I guess now from what we've seen from Drury, you're going to have to pull out all the stops because they do not give up on any set. But the key factor in that set, really the deciding factor for Drury, was their 4 service errors.
Yeah, they definitely struggled serving on that one. And you saw St. Cloud struggle a little bit yesterday, but they've gotten back into it. Only 1 or 2 in this one, I believe. St. Cloud's kind of got themselves back into being a well-oiled machine, similar to what they were mid-season last year.
Yes.
They've really worked out the kinks.
And for the Huskies, we're going to see if we're going to see more of that early set dominance that we saw in set 1. As set 1 slowly began to fall apart, and then all the Huskies are up by 8, and then all of a sudden it's a 2-point game by the end of it.
And I mean, Drury really, they kind of, they struggled in that first match. They're doing the opposite now that they did in the first, in that game. They kind of started to come back towards the end versus giving it up.
The momentum really swung.
Yes,
first it was really all
yep.
Huskies, and then at the end of the first set, it was the Panthers. And now it seems like Juliana Squire having a conversation with the higher-up official on the far side. Seems like she was just chatting with him as she's cracking a smile to start off set 2 here. We wait for Swire to get us going. Kirshner keeps up. Baran backs at Zimmerman. Oh, that was going to be off the wrist and out. We'll see. Zimmerman wallops that one.
I like that one. She zapped it as well.
That one's now for special occasions. Birmingham off the back foot. Baran just could not get there. It looked like that one was good. Thought that one was going to be out.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
It's always hard to tell when you have those sharp cross angles.
Especially from our viewpoint. It
now
can
from our
get real
viewpoint.
tricky.
And that will be Gabby Birmingham. Brandis will run over for this one. Foley kept it alive. There's Bassler. Strouth was it. Goes backside. Rossi had the stutter step.
Oh, nice.
Rear dumps that one over. Baran to Foley. Heads up. That one's going to be out. Kept alive by Squire as I was.
What a
110% effort. As I was I was worried that ball was going to crash into our setup here.
I was ready to catch it. She jumps onto our table.
Pools served, kept alive by Strauss. Back to rear, back to Strauss. Baran sets for Hool on the back line. Birmingham confused on how she lost control of it. Rear has to just dive to get that one over. Huskies not very urgent to get that ball back over. But when Rossi thunders one back to the Panther side, Huskies find themselves up 3-1.
Again, the power of the Huskies is starting to pay off for them. And you come into the situation, if you're Drury, you want to keep that momentum from the
Baran
last
dumps
set.
it over. There it is. Again, it's something about when you're on, we'll say, the left side from us.
Yep.
You just dump it over. That's the third time that's happened between these two teams, between the two setters.
Drury's done a really good job. Did a very good job of it in the last set. And there's
a service error from Rachel Hool. And now
that's
we're
her
going to
second
see
one.
Taylor Neal step in for Lexi Bassler. Squire steps out. Selma Lewis back in for the Panthers, 4-2 Huskies. Set one, 25-23. And Lewis well long on this one. Huskies, another 3-point, and again, another service error for the Panthers. And that's really where they were leaking points to the Huskies.
Yeah, that's really hurting them right now.
Joust up front, that was not going to get over as Neal just had to pop fist that one. Just not enough angle.
Yeah, you've got to be more aware of what hit you're on and where the ball is in the play.
Kept up. Here's a Lewis again. Baran does not win the joust as Tadlock has that one on lock.
Tadlock with a great job of keeping her hands away from the net and just dunking that ball over the net. You love to see it.
I hate to say it, but she really posterized Rossi there. Something you're rarely going to see throughout this season.
Exactly where I was going with that.
So Y sends it over. Baran to Rachel. She is completely shut down.
Yeah, the block again. Duncan up there. And I believe that was
Duncan in rear, it's looking like.
Really stepping it up in this set. Only within two.
Addison Tawai out of Nixa, Missouri. Keeping us going. Foley to Rachel. Block up front. Kept up by Neal. Swing by Duncan. Gonna have to be sent over by Lewis. Baran, easy set. Rossi gifted one as she destroys it.
And I mean,
destroys.
Is there any better spike?
No one spikes it better than Phoebe Rossi.
Exactly,
on this team.
that's where I'm going. It's amazing. She's got the physicality, the height, and the power.
Oh, and the miscommunication is Kern's going to get her second ace of the season as Squire and Neal just body checked each other, we'll say.
Yeah, and that speaks again to the communication. We've mentioned a lot in the past few days, but it's really that big of a part of the game.
And Kern just a little too much mustard on that one. She's going to step out. Kirshner back in. As it seems as Kern really the serving specialist here for the Huskies this weekend so far. Baran to Rachel, that's off the body. Sayonara, 9-5.
Tawai not able to angle that hit back in, and that's just one of those unfortunate events where you get hit with a extremely powerful ball, and the way you're sitting is the way it's going to go. Not much you can do from your point.
Dwight keeps it up. Rear backs it. There's Duncan. That's going to be out. Huskies get the point. Duncan running on a fine line there. And just finds herself a little bit out.
That's good placement off of your hit, though. That's exactly what you want to see.
That's where you want to hit
it. That really shows to the skill of the player.
Rear. Cross to Neal. That's going to be in. Huskies drifted a little too far forward. 10-6 now.
I will say the Huskies are doing a little bit better job of spreading the floor in this one.
We'll see some substitutes come in. We see Bassler and Strauss make their way back in. Bassler on the serves out of Wildwood, Missouri, played in 28 matches last year. Moran back set to Zimmerman. That's going to be out. And Bregelman, he will challenge this one. And again, I don't know. That was just so quick from Zimmerman. Just a laser beam off her hand.
I'm going to risk my integrity here, and I'm going to say that's a bad challenge. That was right in front of us. I honestly, at least just say it's out, man.
I'd say for the first challenge tonight, I think we both agreed that one was out.
It's at least not worth throwing your challenge. You're up by 3 points right now.
And we'll try to take a look here. There's the set. Zimmerman. You might have a better angle than me on this one, Carl.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd say it's out.
It's going to be close here. We're going to have to see how this one goes down, but right now Huskies are doing a solid job. They're up 10-7, and this is almost kind of a free timeout for both sides. We see Jennifer Bonner for the Panthers kind of coaching her girls, making sure they're...
And this is a situation where you really wish you had better angles, but unfortunately, we've got what we've got. But we're happy to be with what we have.
Yes.
Fantastic crew here. Amazing program.
They always help us to put on a good show, as it's not just us, ladies and gentlemen. There is a handful of people behind the scenes.
This one may be in.
Good camaraderie between the two head coaches here. They're both laughing.
This is starting to look like it's in.
No, the near side judge, he's really making sure he is conclusive on this call. Gonna have to see how this one turns out. As we wait for the call. Near side official going to chat with head coach Chad Bregelman. And it will be, looks like point for the Drury Panthers. And
and we're looking at it right here. It did kind of look like it had hit the line, but there definitely wasn't enough evidence to prove that it did. So you got to go with the original call.
Yep. Point stands Bassler. The keeper's going Foley. Loses the handle on it. She'll just set it back over. It's a Y. To Strauss. Over to Birmingham now. Holman, big swing, gets it through the block. Bassler keeps it up. Strauss off the fingertips. Foley to Brand. Short set to Zimmerman. Back corner twice there. Rear gets the set, but Duncan gets absolutely thwarted up front by the Husky block.
Huskies' wall will not be broken down.
Lindsay Rachel keeps us rolling here. Rear Duncan, a feathery light touch, and that's going to be a two-touch.
No, I believe that's a net touch on St. Cloud.
Oh, yes, excuse me. I got the hand signal wrong there. You were looking at the far side official. I'm looking at the near side official.
Well, I was looking at the Husky touching the net, actually.
Hey, that works too.
Emma Barron just barely nicks it.
We're allowed to do a lot of things in volleyball, but touch the net is a big no.
You can touch the net as long as it's not in the play.
And Foley goes for the body again. 4-on-4. Huskies get the point as Lexi Bassler could not get the handle.
The fury of Foley really paying off.
Rachel, not Foley.
Oh, excuse me.
Kirshner now. Rear back set. Baran, there's Holman, goes back corner. Squire goes along. That'll be Husky, Panther point. 12-9, and again, Drury.
What a nice touch there.
They're so close to getting the lead here. Unable to do so. Gabby Birmingham keeping us going. Baran, Rossi, she called for it, gets denied. As it was Stormy Tadlock up front.
Yeah, Tadlock's really
37 blocks last season. She had 9 earlier today, led the team against Minnesota Duluth.
She also averaged 1.14 kills per game last year, so she's definitely a valuable player for this team.
And just an absolute missile off the hands of Kenzie Foley as she just had a gap right up the middle.
There's the Foley Fury.
There it is. Just a little early on that one. Saw it a little too far in the future.
I can see the future, you know.
Squire, awkward set. Strauss has to bump it over. Baran over the Foley at the stutter step. Not ready for it. That might be a 2-touch. Huskies get the point. Yeah. A little awkward as Foley almost had to jump backward. She's just going to talk to Baran about this and be like, just a little further back there.
Yeah, that's your communication issues again.
Yep.
And I mean,
early season, that's going to be an ace for Houle. Squire couldn't get underneath it.
And that serve was a laser. There's no arc to it at all, just right over the net. Almost no chance for Drury.
Bassler keeps it up, shanks it. Birmingham just slaps it back over. Baran dumps it. There's Squire. Tadlock gets denied. It's off Foley's hands. Good connection.
Great spot there for St. Cloud State, able to recognize when the ball's going over. Starting to be able to read this Drury team better and better as this game goes on. And you know, what else could you expect from a team like St. Cloud? They're filled with
They're filled with talent. The joust up front. Baran had the back set. Diving keep by Rachel. Full swing by Tadlock. It goes off for Houle on the back line, back over, and just out. 15-12 now for the Huskies.
Yeah, and the awareness for Drury getting a lot better here as well. In that first set, you saw them. You saw the awareness getting really weird when the ball came towards the edges and they were letting it go. But on that one, they were able to see it and notice that it was going out.
And Foley gets the rebound of the block by Drury to go out. And the big thing I think for Drury is they've started to match the pace that the Huskies play at. They've matched the tempo. Joust up front, kept alive. Kirshner over to Rachel. That's off the fingertips and gone. 17-12.
Yeah, Drury is really, I still wouldn't count them out. You call timeout now, too.
Absolutely not. Not after the first set, as they really seem like a late set team.
They're keeping it closer, though, here throughout the whole match. It seems like this has gone a lot longer. Maybe it's because of the review, but it really seems more even in this one.
Yes. Drury, they've gotten up the speed is the best way I'll put it. Timeout here for Drury. As scoreline 17-12, Huskies, they're getting close. They're within 10. But for the Panthers, they've struggled to try to get the lead. They've been able to tie, I believe. No. In that first set, the Huskies led it the entire way through. So for Drury, I think even if they can just get the lead once or even tie it, it'll do a lot for their momentum.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just about finishing it off right now for St. Cloud. You just have to be able to will yourself through the rest of this. It's kind of getting back to your game plan just to tip this game over the edge. And you can get back to playing your game and playing for fun once you're up like this, but at this point, I feel like you'd rather just finish it off. Tip it over the edge. I don't want to say put them down, but just put them in the dirt.
Yes. And with that, timeout has concluded. Foley will serve for the Huskies. She had 2 aces yesterday. Rear pops. There's kept alive by the Panthers. Neal pops it. There's her backed up over by Lewis. Rachel far side roll shot, not going to be kept up by the Panthers.
What a nice soft touch there by Rachel.
Feathery soft.
I like that one.
10 ply is the best way I could put it. 18-12. Foley keeps us going. Rear to Neal. Rear to Neal again. Has to try off the fingertips. Kept alive by Rachel. Baran. Short set by Rossi. Kept up. Birmingham now. Rear has to keep that one up. Baran. Rossi. That is splintered down.
And Drury does a great job to keep that ball in play on that first side to get it after they, but after they get it back, after the St. Cloud gets it back over, they're not able to capitalize on it.
Yep, and the spacing falls apart for Drury, and that's where the Huskies capitalize. Squire, backcourt, Foley, Baran, Rachel, that's just a long.
Just a little
she shakes
too
her
much.
head a little too much, shakes her head. She wants that one back, 19-13.
Now we'll get some substitutions for Drury. Yeah, Drury I feel like they could definitely get back into this one if they're not already.
They got it. They can't give up free points to the Huskies. There can't be any more errors, any more swings long. That's a good block up front. Kirshner, Baran, Foley from the back line, smokes it. 20-13.
Now Foley set that one on fire there. You could see the smoke from a mile away.
You can still kind of see the smoke trail here in Hallenbeck Hall. The fans trying to blow this one away. Emily Kern steps back in. Key serve here for the Huskies. 5 points away from the second set victory. Duncan, big swing, Baran. Foley up the gut, roll shot, finds the gap in the middle. And for the Panthers, their back line, they moved back. They respected Kenzie Foley. They were ready for a big swing.
And Tawai was right there.
Yep.
You got to think if she didn't dive for that, she would have been able to get it easily. And that's just a lapse of judgment.
Second timeout for the Drury Panthers, and I think now you have to call this because the Huskies are within 4 and you're still 12 out. You got to get some points back somehow. You got to ice the Huskies.
Oh, no, you're correct. Excuse me.
You know what, Carl? I've been commentating for many years, and one thing I always say is never do math live. You're always going to get it wrong. Math is also, it's not my strong point.
No, it is 8, actually.
So
it's not mine either. So you know what? Don't ask us. It's just different.
Ask me to commentate volleyball. Absolutely. Ask me to do some math. I might be a little bit hesitant to it. But as this timeout winds down for Drury, you're going to need to get some points your way, get some momentum, because if you don't win this set, you're down by 2. And at that point, your backs are really up against the wall, and the mountain just gets that much taller.
Yeah, I think you got to find a way to spread the floor a little better. Get your teammates spread out. Maybe go back into something a little basic to get your head back into the game. You don't want to forget the basics. That's one of the main things here. If you get yourself in a hole, you can start to forget those things that just come so easy to you.
Kern once again. That's going to be short. Bit of friendly fire. It's Sam Zimmerman in the back right on the number. They laugh it off. You know, keep the mood light, find things funny. The meta really is to have fun.
It really is. That's what it's a game. That's what it's all about.
Foley to Rachel. That one's going to be just out. Duncan can't win the joust. That's going to be a two-touch and a lift. Yeah, will be called a lift. 22-14 now. We see Holman step in for Houle. Baran to serve. Going to be a diving save. Rear to Neal. She is shut down. What a block by Holman and Zimmerman.
The Huskies pulling out the stops there, and you realize the Twin Towers are up front. Nothing doing against them. They've really shown that they are going to be dominant in front of the net.
Duncan is going to have to joust that one over. Kirshner. Baran backs at Holman. Good night.
Once again.
Dear Barbara, McKenna Holman.
The Twin Towers coming at you.
Set point for your Huskies. Baran chips it off the net. That one might be back over. Birmingham goes back corner. Kirshner. Baran short set. Zimmerman doesn't even make it over the net. Panthers live to see another minute. Another serve.
Panthers grasping for anything they can get at this point. You'll take any point you can get. And for the Huskies, you can't give up any more errors. You have to be on point. We already saw Lindsay Rachel get the service error earlier, and you can't have any more of those.
And now we're going to see Bassler and Strauss step back in for Drury. Still set point here for St. Cloud State. Baran to Rachel. That's fingertips kept up by Rear. Bassler. Up to Strauss at the twist for that one. Kirchner to Rachel. She shut down. Baran backs that stretch for Holman. And that is the set. Holman, phenomenal job. She gets the last 2 points for set 2. Huskies take it 25-15. And this one a lot more dominant are your Huskies.
Yeah, nothing. Couple service errors, but really not very much they need to improve on. It's just been such a fluent game for St. Cloud here that it looks so good.
They're looking strong so far. That's the first 5 sets of the season for the Huskies. Out of the gate, looked well. And with that, we're going to send it to a bit of a longer break here. And when we come back, it'll be set 3 between St. Cloud and Drury University here on the KVSC Sports Stream.
You're listening to the KVSC Sports Stream, and we've got all your favorite shows.
Is Richmond, Virginia attractive to
More
Division
attractive
I
than
athletes?
Mankato.
Okay.
Fargo, North. Who wants to go to Fargo, North Dakota?
Personalities.
Oh, shakalaka, let's go.
Wow, that was interesting.
And classic Husky moments you could ever dream of.
Tries to bake it home. He does. Joey Bennett lights the lamp for the Huskies again. Another one for St. Cloud State, and they lead 4-0. Return now by UMC. Holman dumps it over on 2. Tying the game at 25. Holman, do the thing you do so well.
To Kenny Walker inside the 5. Walker all the way. Touchdown, St. Cloud State.
So for the best sports coverage in the Granite City, be sure to tune in to the KVSC Sports Stream, where it's all Huskies all the time.
And I'll do it. Huskies win the first ever North Star Cup.
KVSC is looking for new volunteers in our sports department. If you love sports and want an opportunity to get closer to your favorite teams, the KVSC Sports Department is the place for you.
Kosla, back up to Proud. Big slap shot, scores! Goal number 2 for Ethan Proud.
By joining the KVSC Sports Department, you will not only receive a great addition to your resume, but you will meet the future of the industry and gain on-the-job experience in broadcasting.
I think he has taken over not necessarily a leadership role, but the role as the focal point on the team, and I think the team does know that.
For more information on how to join KVSC, you can call us at 320-308-3066 or visit our website, kvsc.org.
Gets the ball on the advance, has an open 3 for the record. Goal, baby!
Lexi Peterman has 41.
The KVSC Sports Department. Get in the game.
Welcome back, Husky fans, to Hallenbeck Hall here for Husky Volleyball. I am your host, Earnhardt Jaworski, joined by Carl Gunner, and after 2 sets, St. Cloud currently up 2-0. Set 1 going in favor of the Huskies, 25-23, and then set 2 is a bit more wide open, 25-15. And a big thing to note for Drury after that second set, Carl, they only swung .061. That is abysmal.
Well, here's the thing. At this point, they're in their own heads.
Yes.
And you have, if you're Coach Banner Hill, you've got to get your team back to playing their own game, get back to your roots, think of the basics.
Start playing Drury
Start with
volleyball.
the basics. If you start with the basics, doesn't matter if you're losing. That'll help you get back into the game. You can lose you can let up a couple points. Just get back into your game, because once you get your own strategies,
once
your
you're
own
comfortable,
methods,
you're feeling good.
Exactly.
It's like you can't run before you know how to walk, and you can't walk before you can crawl.
Exactly.
And if you can't crawl, you're not going anywhere.
The pressure that St. Cloud is putting on you is getting you out of your own mind, and you're overthinking everything.
And the .061 for Drury compared to the .361 for the Huskies, they're almost swinging at 400 here, which is incredible, as last night they swung for 326. So they're just about average right now. So they're looking good. You had Kenzie Foley, 12 kills. Lindsay Rachel now has 7 total. Emma Baran, 27 assists. 10 blocks on the side of the Huskies, 6 for Drury.
Baran could already surpass her
career high.
As we mentioned as we mentioned yesterday, it can only get better from here.
And for the potential last set, Lindsay Rachel going to start us off. Rear to Tadlock, kept up by Baran. Kirshner. Foley just doesn't decide to go through the block. She goes around it, finds the space.
Great vision there by Foley, able to get around that block. And also great.
Well, you could see her adjust midair.
Exactly.
Instead of going straight on, just twist her body a little to the right. Found the space. Strauss unable to get it. Almost goes face first into the bleachers trying to recover. 2-0 for the Huskies. That'll be an ace for Lindsay Rachel. So nice. They gave her 2 first names. Strauss now keeping it alive. Foley dumps it back down. There's Strauss, kept up by Rachel. Back line by Rachel, sends it back over. Strauss calls her teammates off. Backline swing by Neal, that's going to be wide.
We talked about it in the second set, that the service errors and the service errors were killing Drury.
The service errors and the attack errors.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I'm getting at. Is the little mistakes that you make can really cost you.
And I believe that's going to be a second ace now for Rachel. And it's 4-0 right out of the gate in the 4th set. And the Panthers just seem gassed.
And we talked about it, that you got to get back in your own head. You got to play your game. They had no chance coming out there. St. Cloud just nailed them and continued to nail them. And continued to nail them. And you got to get this timeout here is really good for you. You got to get yourself relaxed, calm down. Again, get back to the basics. But
and
even
just look, I keep bringing up the errors for Drury, and it's actually St. Cloud. They have one more error compared to Drury. I believe St. Cloud has 16 errors total between attack errors, set errors, and service errors, compared to the 15 total errors by Drury. But for St. Cloud, they've been able to build up points elsewhere. Rear sets. That's going to be off the fingertips of Foley from. To get a number here, it's going to be TV Gurley making her first appearance. Kawhi will serve. And for Drury, you just got to get anything going. That's going to be long, and that's just another costly mistake for Drury.
Squire's been struggling on these serves.
Yes. The entire team for Drury has. Kirshner now gets that one over. Rear back set to Tadlock. That's wide.
And we go back to Squire's struggle for a player who led the team in aces last year with 42. That's not the person you want to struggle in a game this competitive.
Good set. Foley just gifted one. Baran. Foley had to cut middle. Rear. Squire's just going to send that one back. Kirshner. Baran. Holman just dumps over. Rear to Strauss. She's shut down, but the block for the Huskies goes wide. That's .2 on the board for the Panthers. And for the Panthers, you got to start somewhere. Bassler steps in for Strauss.
A little bit of confusion on what's going on out here. I should say me, excuse me. I was a little confused.
It happens, you know. It's only game 2 here. Baran. Holman, fiery swing. That's going to be point for the Panthers as Rachel couldn't get back to that one in time.
That's great awareness by Tadlock, able to get her arms up to block in time. She's really been a bright spot.
Yes,
for this
she's been
team.
leading her team in kills right now after set 2. She had 10. I believe she's up to 11 now. Baran to Foley. Oh, my word. What a swing kept alive. Rear just decides to dump it over. Reset on defense. Swing by Holman. Full arm extension. That's going to be point Drury. Barely out as the high judge says Bregelman's going to have a conversation.
Well, I think either way, that ball looked like it was out from here at least. Bregelman does not sound very happy.
Bregelman asking the officials to work with him a little bit. Not going to get the call. That's the thing I appreciate about it.
Fortunately, that's not their job.
No, it's not their job. It's to call a fair game. Foley right up the gut. Foley to flesh with violence. Holy smoke, she eradicates it.
Call fair game.
Poole keeps us going. Rear over to Neal, fingertips. Huskies are going to lose a point here. Just barely, it looks like. Again, Huskies all smiles. Drury, they're fighting to get back within this one. 7-5 now. Rachel sends it high. Kirshner to Foley, had to reach back for that. Tadlock. Dumped over by Bassler. Baran to Foley up the gut again. If it works, keep going to it.
And honestly, it looked like it hit Tadlock's shoe, but they called it right there.
And I could hear as that rally was going on, Bregelman applauding Foley for her work that point.
You'd love to see it. A coach.
Baran short set to Rossi. Rear swung by Duncan. That is just... Duncan just had the door slammed in her face by Rossi.
And I mean, Rossi really showing again why she was a runner-up for NSIC All Defensive Player of the Year. Or she was, excuse me, the Defensive Player of the Year.
Joust up front, kept alive by Duncan. Kirshner. Baran. Rachel dumps it over, and Rear just about catches it.
Wow, I mean, the battles up front in this one have been, they've actually been a lot more even than I feel like they have been in the last 2 sets. And that's where you realize that Drury's starting to figure it out a little more.
Duncan, big swing. Kirshner to Rachel. That's going to be backside. Short pop. That gets through the fists of Rossi and Baran. Bregelman confused on a call. Bregelman not happy with the call. Walks back to his chair. We begin again. Baran, Rossi the only one there. That might have been fingertips. No. Drury will get the point.
Did look very close to fingertips, but yeah.
And at this vantage point, you can hardly tell.
And officials can only call it the best of their ability. It's almost everything's a judgment call here.
Baran, awkward. This one has to get over for Foley. Oh, and chips off the net. Panthers scrambling. There's Neal. That's not going to get over the net. Husky point. Kern in for Rossi. Zimmerman steps in for Kirshner. As I alluded to earlier, Kern really that serving specialist here for the Huskies.
Seems to be a player.
She's just got the precision that Bregelman likes. And I think that's going to be a reach over for Drury. 12-7 Huskies.
Yeah, as you're saying, Kern, she seems to be the player who steps in, serves, and steps out again. I mean, you love to see it.
I mean, as long as Huskies are getting the points, Kern's going to step in. Rear jump set for Duncan. Big swing. It was crashed over Kern's head as she just drifted too far forward there. Left that back corner open.
And man, that's great placement by Drury. They're really keeping it in this one.
Foley, Baran, Rachel steps up to it. She tries to just big hand that one over, but it goes back in her face.
There's a battles up front. We just mentioned. I mean, it's really looking a lot
front
better
line for Drury. Really starting to get the Huskies number here.
Yeah, it's nice to see it. They're looking like a lot more of a competitive team after that timeout they had. They're really in their own headspace, and they're not playing to St. Cloud's game.
And the swing by Zimmerman's going to be blocked by Drury, but fall way out. Holman steps in for Houle.
And this is looking like a lot more of an even game here.
Yes, Drury, they're looking a lot better, but they're still a couple steps behind the Huskies. Baran, over to Rachel, that's going to be blocked, kept alive. Kirshner, over the Foley back line. Duncan pops, there's Strauss, she's denied by Zimmerman. And Zimmerman just saw that telegraph and she shut it down.
Using those long arms like she has all game, she's been one of the best players up front for St. Cloud.
Baran again. There's rear, far side. Gurley shut down.
Lindsay Rachel again showing off her vertical, going up. Displaying why she's one of the best players on the St. Cloud team and possibly in program history.
And it will be Squire. Kickstart our hearts once more. Joust up front. Baran wins it. That's going to be a lift, however.
Zimmerman up front against Joust there. Does a great job just popping it right up over the net.
14-11. Squire's serve going to be long again.
She continues to struggle.
She's struggling. That's at least her second service error this evening. 15-11 now. Huskies 10 points out. For Drury, things are starting to look dire. Tadlock has to get on the floor. Baran fully smashes it, kept alive in the rafters. Squire, Weir just dumps it back over. Kirshner. Baran pops that. Zimmerman lofts it over.
Zimmerman again with a soft touch up front.
She has such good awareness of when she needs to swing for power or when she just needs to dump it over.
And for your blockers up front, that's what you want to see. Having that awareness just helps everyone else on your team be better because when you know to jump, everyone else knows to prepare.
Gurley swung, kept alive, back set. Holman, it twisted on the top of the net. Foley roll shot. All she needed, excuse me. Going to be 17-11 now. Timeout Drury, and the Huskies looking strong here late in set 3.
And you can't forget this Drury team. They finished third in the Great Lakes Valley Conference last year. Excuse me, the last 2 seasons. And they're not too far out from making it to the D2 volleyball tournament. Back in 2018, they made it to the second round.
That's a feat to say itself. You know, St. Cloud, I believe their all-time record at the national tournament is 2-7. So less than to be desired.
It's definitely something you
But hey,
want to improve on.
that is something this team looks to improve upon this season. But we still have over 20 games to go here, Carl. So
they haven't played any NSIC teams yet, but they are showing like they have been the power.
This is a great warm-up. And you know, we had 2 games in 2 days, past 2 days, but tomorrow we have 2 games alone were, Seattle Pacific and Ashland University take the drive up from St. Paul, where they have been playing down at Concordia St. Paul, playing Concordia and Winona State.
And I mean, with the St. Cloud team, you got to walk before you can run. Starting off slow with some.
And I know for those Husky players that went out to Seattle last year, they want a bit of revenge.
They're chomping at the bit.
Yes. Squire, that might be off fingertips. Yes. Just inside the far pin.
Surprised they didn't call a net touch there on McKenna Holman.
More substitutes as Tawai comes in for Gurley. $17-12 here. Set 3 on the KVSC Sports Stream. Baran Holman, big swing. Diving kept alive. Panthers are scrambling. Kirshner at the dive. Foley, big swing, fingertips. It's out. Husky point.
Foley once again with the attack paying off. She averaged .295 hitting last year, and you got to expect it's only going to go up from there.
Holman had to block that by herself, but Huskies going to get the point.
She hit the side pole.
Hit the pin. That is correct, Cara. I was a little confused on it. Kirshner now. Kept up by Neal. Swing by Strauss. Kirshner pancakes it, but it's not going to be enough. Just shanks out towards the bleachers.
What a pancake, though. Quite a dive there.
I can never, to me, I'm always astonished by those pancakes, because to me, it just looks like it hits the ground. But there's a hand there to keep it alive.
And it really shows how much, it really shows the work ethic of the player.
Bassler gets us going. Foley. Baran, short set. Rossi falls through the Panther hands. Panther paws, you can say. 5 points out are your Huskies.
St. Cloud, I mean, they came out, they extended the lead a little bit. You've got to keep going, put them back in the
It's not
round.
over yet.
Exactly.
Good dump over by Rear. Baran. Foley, big swing. It's thundered.
Foley put the fire on that one again and said, it's almost over.
And we see freshman Maddie McTaggart make her
St. Cloud debut.
St. Cloud debut is Lindsay Rachel given a rest. McTaggart out of Omaha, Nebraska, appeared on the AVCA All-American watch list last year. Had over 1,000 career kills at Millard West.
She earned the AVCA All-Region, All-Conference, and All-State honors at Millard West, where she led them to the second-place finish at the Nebraska Class A high school tournament.
And just like Kern, who will get another ace this evening. Oh, this is going to be a short one just over rear. Pop set, swing by Tadlock.
That was a great serve by Rachel Hull. You love it when it's a little soft. You catch them on
It was drooping down before it got over the net, which is exactly what you want. Huskies 3 points out. Tadlock now.
Yeah, you don't want to know where that serve is going. You always want it to be a surprise.
Foley back corner, just an orbital strike from Kenzie Foley. The grade 8 puts the Huskies within 2.
And she looked like she was calling this one. She's real close to finishing off Drury.
Huskies really attacking Addison's Hawaii here late. McTaggart, big swing. Kirshner can't get there.
That's the first time for the freshman coming in. A little bit of miscommunication with the libero Kirshner there. It's your first time, that's all right.
It is a quick learning curve. And Neal with another service error.
Hey, you mentioned
Huskies
the learning curve.
move to match point. Big serve here for Emily Kern. Could say it's the biggest serve for her collegiate career so far, only played
by far
2 games. And that's going to be it. She gets the ace. The double commit by Drury is their undoing. That is the pen flip, ladies and gentlemen. 25-15 Huskies sweep the Drury Panthers there. 2-0 to start the season.
And they continue undefeated on sets this year. Have not lost a single set.
And coming into this game, they were 24-2 at Hallenbeck since 2019. And Huskies have now won 28 out of their last 30 here at Hallenbeck.
That's what you love to see.
Home court advantage.
Growth in the program and loyalty to the sport. And it really shows the ability of the coaching staff here. And yeah, you get the victory because home court advantage helps a little bit, but I mean, it's more than that.
It's comfortability, you know, and it's kind of you know how to line things up with things that are off in the distance,
and you always feel more comfortable.
Yes. I'd say it's almost similar to hockey where you can kind of know where the bounces are going to go off your own boards.
Exactly.
But the only thing that the ball bounces off of is the hardwood here at Hallenbeck Hall.
Well, and those dents that they put in.
Yes, and the dents. We might need some repairs for tomorrow. So tomorrow at noon, early game. It'll be at Seattle Pacific University coming to town.
Huskies looking for some revenge. And man, it's going to be exciting.
I'm excited for this doubleheader. You know,
yeah, as am I.
It's going to be chaotic. You know, there's going to be a lot of volleyball going on. And we're going to have head coach Chad Bragelman step in here for a bit of a post-game interview. See how he feels about his girls going 2-0. Oh, maybe not just yet. He's looking for stats.
Busy guy.
Busy guy, you know. And he's going to be right here waiting for the stats to get him from Thomas Breach. And now he will take a step into the booth here. Chad,